Well, I'm splurging.
Oh, okay.
Dathan, very strong race.
Yeah.
Really led a good portion of the early miles.
Yeah.
How do you feel out there? It looked like you were really rolling.
Yeah, I felt so-so. I felt really good in the beginning because it was so slow. You know, I could tell right away it was like one of those things where it was going to be, I mean, it felt like a marathon the first mile, and so, you know, it's a downhill mile and it's 4:52, so I kind of threw out a fast time right away that I knew that wasn't going to happen, and so turned my mind more tactically, and so I just, I kind of moved into the lead at about a mile there, but didn't really push too hard, just wanted to kind of see if anybody else would maybe want to, and no one really, you know, everybody seemed content to tuck back in now. I think they thought the same thing, probably that was going to be a slow race, might as well make it tactical, so then I tried to really push the next mile again until about 3 miles, and then at that point, at that little uphill, I decided to kind of tuck back around and see if they would keep the pace going, because it had started to thin out a little bit, and but after about a half a mile, I tried to take advantage of that big downhill again and get it really rolling, and so that's what I did. I pushed pretty hard for another good half mile or to a mile, and then Dathan kind of took off, and but I never let him get more than 2 seconds ahead, or really, so I just tried to kind of gauge that effort, because I didn't want to let him get too far ahead, but we were really rolling on those downhills. I'm going to have some sore quads tomorrow, that's for sure. It's a harder course than I thought it was, actually, having driven it, but so then I kind of, Ben was still right there, and so at about 5 miles, we caught him again, and that last, you guys I think took off at that point on the truck, but we just kind of went, the 3 of us were together, you know, until about right for about a half mile going up those uphills, until like that last little uphill. Finally, Ben broke away there, and me and Dathan were kind of there until about the last quarter, and I was able to outkick him, so I was happy with that. So
around 5 miles, it looks like you took the tangent when Dathan went to get water, and you really cut that gap a little bit. That gained you.
He's a novice, I guess. His first road race, you know. So it's amazing, you know, cutting the tangents. I mean, if you cut the tangent on a 2-lane road like that, you can cut off 10, 15 feet, you know, pretty easy. So that was the difference of that 2 feet, or 2 seconds that was ahead of us. So I try to cut the tangents as much as possible, and you know, you always wonder a little bit, what's the is it the edge of the road or is it the white line? And so after a couple of turns early on, you know, I just need to put that out of your head and just cut as close as you can as the side of the road. I mean, that's part of racing.
You finished 1-2 with Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, no American had won here.
Yeah.
That must be pretty special.
Yeah, I was really happy with. I mean, Ben obviously is a hometown guy here, and so everybody was cheering for him. If I would have beaten him here, they probably wouldn't have liked me, and I wouldn't be back next year, you know. But at the same time, he's, you know, the trials didn't go well for him, but it didn't go well for me this time either. So, you know, it's a brutal game in that aspect. But he's so fit still, you know. I mean, he's just coming off some really good stuff on the track, and Dathan obviously pushed Mo in 3, you know, pretty good, and came off the Kenyan trials, ran really well there. So for me to be right in there, I feel pretty good about where I'm at, really. I just, you know, I've written out a track out of my mind, but I can get in and mix it up in this stuff still, and I feel really good with where I'm at going into New York now. I just need to take a rest week here, recharge a little bit, make sure the body's 100%, and I think I have a really special race in New York, so I got to really focus on finishing strong that last 10K, and so that's something I got to attack in that training. But this sets me up really good for the training cycle going into New York.
When did you actually pass Dathan? Was it inside the fort?
Yeah, he so right at the last little, those 2 last little hills. So there's one right before you come in.
Yeah.
So we were together there. We come over the hill, and we all made the turn together. And then Ben took off there. Dathan went with him, and he was up on me a little bit at the top. And I think I don't know if he ran out of gas a little bit, but I kind of caught him probably about 500 meters from there.
Oh, so the back for the port.
Yeah,
there. Oh,
it was before the 6 mile mark that I had caught him, and then so somewhere on that flat part.
Okay, but Ben was first into the turn and doing
we were all kind of right together within a second or two, and Ben really took off on that short little steep uphill.
When Dathan sort of first gapped you guys earlier in the race, did you think, oh man, that's it, he's gone, or were you thinking, oh, we'll come back?
No, you know, we had been going pretty fast at that downhill section, and so You never know when a guy's just run 26:50 something recently. You think, maybe am I in any kind of shape close to that? But I mean, I must be in pretty good shape. So, I wasn't completely, I was not intimidated or anything at that point. But at the same time, I didn't know if he was just going to keep pushing and go because, I was feeling like my legs were moving as fast as they were going to go at that point. So, but he only maintained about a 2-second lead for half a mile there, and then we kind of caught him back. So it was, but actually, I wondered at that point, is he just going to take off and be gone here? And so,
is there anything else you think you could have done to get the win today instead of finishing second?
Maybe the only difference I can think of is having it been a faster race overall. Ben was strong over the finish there, and I don't touch that kind of speed anymore. He's coming off from the track season, and I haven't done anything faster than 62 seconds for an interval, and so I just can't risk that now, and so at this point, I feel good about it, but the only difference I could have made is having got rid of him, earlier on, maybe without having him around to 800 to go, and so I felt strong, but I knew that I'm not putting on track spikes, so I'm not going to be ready to really kick it down the last 200 or anything either. So, but he had a great day, and I think it was good for him to get back out and have a victory after having the trials like that. I mean, sometimes that's the best medicine, is getting back out there and just get back on the horse.